In an almost 360-degree studio full of LED panels, lights, and cameras, there lies something the VFX industry has been using called the volume. Created by Industrial Light and Magic, ILM, who are always in the forefront of revolutionizing the VFX and movie world, are calling the volume Stagecraft. The magic starts with real-time rendering game engines, usually Unreal Engine, to create artificial backdrops or environments. In that world that is created inside of the game engine, it is linked by a camera inside of the game and a camera in real life. This allows for the cameras in real life to interact with the objects and world inside of the game. And since the volume is built in virtually a 360-degree studio, it allows for a seamless environment integration that is completely artificial. Since the background is used inside of the game engine, if lighting or certain aspects within the world don't look right or aren't desired, artists and engineers can alter the artificial world in a relatively fast time with relative ease, which can't always be said for VFX work. If filmed correctly, it is very hard to tell that everything is an artificial environment to the viewer, obviously besides actors and real-life objects. All of this incredible technology is used to try and get rid of or reduce the amount of green screen that is being used, and to reduce the amount of post-production on a project, since most of the preparation is done in pre-production or actual production instead of loads of time being spent in post-production. Being able to actually see or actually interact with the environment helps actors better understand their characters and the worlds, which helps sell the characters in the worlds. I like to think of the volume like a VR game system, since everything around you is completely artificial, but you can't really tell. So why are these productions trying to use the volume to try and replace green screens? Green screens are a very useful tool for the creation of VFX, and it's been the preferred method for putting artificial backdrops and objects within the scene for many years now. But the process isn't perfect and can be very time consuming in the post-production stage. Other issues stemming from green screens involve the green spill that bounces onto the subjects or objects within your scene. The whole lighting process also needs to be very accurate, because getting a good key is always a goal, but if the green is unlit or uneven, the keying out of that green later will be very difficult for the VFX artists. Also, it can be hard for VFX artists to match what the scene is supposed to look like and the actors together, since both are composited in from separate sources. But since the volume has the desired lighting and background already with the subjects and objects, you don't have to worry about things like green spill onto the actors. You don't have to worry about how the lighting is supposed to look like within the scene, because you already know what it looks like in the scene. This is why the volume or Stagecraft is garnering some great buzz in the VFX industry. The technology is quite incredible, but it's not exactly perfect yet. It is quite expensive, and not every production will have the money to have themselves their very own volume. The set used for The Mandalorian cost more than $100 million. So green screens will still have a huge role for a while, and that's okay, because all in the end, it's still a tool, but things like the volume is way more expensive. But it shouldn't be the only reason that a story is great, but it's certainly a great factor.